Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. And man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Good evening, everyone. As you can hear, it's a miserable rainy evening tonight here in New Zealand, but on behalf of me, on behalf of my friends and family, on behalf of, I think, my subscribers, Merry Christmas, or season's greetings, or however you want to put it. This is a time of enjoyment. This is a time of hanging with family and friends. So do that. Don't focus on the gifts. It's never good when you do that. Enjoy time with your family and friends. Get away for a holiday. And if you are, be safe on the roads, because we all know there's a bunch of idiots on the road. And that's not even being rude. That's just statistically speaking. More people, more idiots. But anyway, Merry Christmas. I better let you go before the rain drowns me out. Merry Christmas. Be safe. But most of all, enjoy the video. Let's battle. Alright, so in round one, we draw Carrie-Anne, and Carrie-Anne was here to test out some PvP. She was relatively new to PvP, so thank you for turning up and participating in the tournament. It was really awesome to have you, and you performed super well. Her team consisted of Glalie, Houndoom, Swampert, Roserade, Dragonair, and Skunk Tank. And what I noticed very, very quickly is that she seemed to be frightened of charge moves. So any charge move I threw, the first two she blocked. I'm almost certain in every game. So that is that's something she's just going to need to sort of work on and think about, like what moves are going to damage her the most and what should potentially be blocked. For example, I might not have needed to shield that Muddy Water earlier on, but this one, the Earthquake on a Houndoom, you would definitely need to shield. That thing is very not tanky and doesn't take an Earthquake well. So GG's to round one. We go into round two. We face her Swampert with our Muck. And here again, I'm bearing in mind that she's not, she's being very frivolous with her shields. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to bait, I'm just going to use the least energy move and see if she'll shield it. Because Thunder Punch isn't going to do that much damage to a Swampert at all. She does shield it. So I'm like, okay, this is potentially, she hasn't used anything but Muddy Water. So I'm like, okay, this is potentially just Muddy Water. But then I didn't know whether to block that or not, and sure enough, it's another Muddy Water. So I'm really, really happy that I ran with my I think he's grade 14. He's ranked 14, that Muck in PvP, so fantastic. He was able to hang on maybe because of IVs. I try to get this cheeky switch in to delete her Swampert, and it does not work. Whoopsie. So now I'm locked into a Skunk Tank, but the Skunk Tank does not have any shields. So again, Meganium is able to really, really hammer down on something that should be a counter to it when it has shields and they do not. I've really liked using Meganium in this cup. It's just so big, so booty. What a big, beefy boy. And we're getting a Frenzy Plant off on the Glalie. The Glalie matches were actually quite interesting. That was something, there you go, time 18. Sorry, he's 18th ranked if I said 14 earlier. The Glalie matches were really fun. I wasn't sure about the Meganium in those matches. I didn't do any real odd sims. I was trying to like focus on the meta, focus on how I needed to play straight for once, which is a bit odd for me. But we skull bash the Glalie with the Lapras, and GG's to round two. So for bragging rights, we go into game 3, I think. And we lead our Kingdra into her Glalie. And in this case, I was thinking, oh god, I'm going to need a switch. But nope, she switched out. So I'm like, okay, I'll stay in. I'll stay in and fire off the Octazooka on the Skunk Tank. And she shields it, unfortunately for her. Didn't get the attack debuff this time, unfortunately for us. And she's going to fire off. I thought it would be a Sludge Bomb. So I shielded on up. And then I was going to just, yeah, I farmed it all the way down. I thought she might have got another charge move off there. And she brings in Rotorua. Now, this Octozooka is definitely not something you would shield on Rotorua, but we get the attack debuff that time, which I'm super happy about, and bring in our Muck, who is totally healthy, and we're going to be able to Acid Spray. So I just realized we got a double debuff, actually. The attack has gone down on the Roserade, and now the defense. So that Roserade is just stripped of all power. I am so sorry. Beat up on, and then just tossed out. So we get the Acid Spray on the Glalie as well, and this is where Muck is so dangerous, when he's able to Acid Spray multiple members of the opposing team, I feel. He's very good for that. And so now he's now going to go down to the Avalanche. That's fine. I pretty much didn't need him anymore. And in this was a race, basically, to the charge move, and I was happy enough that Meganium would get there. But if she had gotten to an Avalanche, I don't know how it would have gone. Now, round 2 against Jay. Jay, I love your face and everything about you, but your name is so hard to pronounce. So, Jay, amazing battler and really cool guy. We lead his Drapion into our Dragonair, and his team, let me run through it for you. The Drapion, obviously, he's got a Charizard, a Beedrill, a Victory Bell, a Whiscash, and a Sudowoodo, which was a really interesting pack. I was not looking forward to figuring out how to get around that. We had been practicing before as well, leading up to various tournaments that we were in. And full disclosure, I'm pretty sure this is the second time through this battle, because the first time we encountered a little bit of lag, and quite a major bit and a major point, and all I asked him was whether Beedrill or Charizard were in the back, because if they were, I was totally done for. But he then found that it was Whiscash. So I said, I think it should actually be a rematch, because I probably could have, would have, and should have won with Meganium, because that's all I had left. So you'll see that we were a lot crisper and had our decisions a little bit more planned out in this one, because I think this was the second time through the first game. So we are able to farm down the Whiscash, and we're going to start blatting off a Frenzy Plant, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get to another one at some point. Oh, well. That was interesting, because I really should have just farmed him down. There wasn't much point in letting off the Frenzy Plant there, but that was round 1. GG's to the round 1. And then in round 2, we lead our Muck into the Does Your Curtain Match the Drapion? And yeah, we're just deciding, this is where I thought, for the whole tournament, I thought Drapion was a water type, or at least part water type. So for some reason, I was confused when I hit Thunder Punch and it didn't do all that much damage. And I was extremely confused a bit later on when I hit an Octozooka and it did heaps, or a Surf. Maybe that was in the last battle where it did heaps, and I was like, is he not a water type anymore, or at all, or has he ever been? Yeah, I was a bit silly. Looked a bit silly, but we're going to go for the Outrage, and Jay is way too smart to let this go through. He knew what we were up to. I think maybe even he might have shielded the Octozooka at that point. I'm not sure. But yeah, it felt like he knew what we were up to there. And I try to bring in Muck for a little bit of extra damage and to burn another shield, just hoping he wants to keep the Victory Bell in, and sure enough, he does. So we're able to get 2 of his shields down now, and now it's up to Meganium, basically. I decided not to use a shield there, presuming it was going to be the Acid Spray, and sure enough it was. And here comes the Beedrill. Now, this is the scenario I was worried about in the last match. And in this one, you'll see it actually goes a lot worse, because despite having a shield, we can't do anything. There's nothing I can do against a Beedrill with a Meganium, unfortunately. I think maybe Earthquake would have been the right play, but I think he also... I'm not sure how that matchup goes. Sorry. But Meganium versus Victory Bell in the last matchup. And boy, do I do something very, very silly at the end of this match. I should have lost. But anyway, we switch out. We try to get some nice thick damage on that Victory Bell. Not so much damage. I just didn't want Meganium to be the one absorbing the Acid Spray again. And you'll find that that actually potentially helped win the battle for me as well. It's crazy how lucky this gets. So in comes the Drapion. Obviously with Ice Fang, I didn't want to bring Meganium in, especially because he was jacked and loaded on energy there, so he was just going to A, Fell Stinger, and B, get the attack buff. So here I go, trying to hit a Surf, and that's where I looked at him and I said to him at that point, isn't he a water type? And he just laughed at me and said no. Potentially shouldn't have blocked that Fell Stinger either. It was never really going to do much against the Lapras. We're able to farm down the Victory Bell, and then in comes Problem Child Beedrill. Now, at this point, I thought I'm in a pretty good position. I was going to make the switch until I realized, he's banking energy, isn't he? So I let off the Surf, and then for some reason, this is where I lose it. I hit Shield. I decided I would Shield, and then get into a CMP tie, which he then wins. So all the energy on my Meganium is now gone, and it's a straight race to the charge move, and I looked at his screen at the same time. He showed me a CMP tie. I won it on a CMP tie. So, Jay, massive battles. Thank you so much. And we come up against Tim in the final. Now, Tim beat Jamie in the second round, so hence why he's here and potentially Jamie isn't. It was crazy, crazy interesting, the way this whole tournament went out. So, came, all back around full circle. So we lead Dragonair into Dragonair, and he Dragon Pulses me. And I'm pretty sure you didn't need to do that, Tim. It was overkill as hell. But regardless, I was pretty happy because all his energy is gone. I bring in the Meganium to finish it off. He brings in Blaziken, and I start just absolutely melting it away with Dragon Breath. And I know this is going to hurt, so I want to shield it. And he gets out of there with Blaziken. I've decided to fire off the Octazooka on the Celio, and luckily enough, we get the attack debuff. So I don't think he's Shrekking Kingdra as much as he should be. Very, 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 very pivotal there. I'm super happy because that I'm so certain was necessary to win. Otherwise, he would have taken him out probably with one body slam, and that would have been it for Kingdra. So I'm able to bring in Meganium now. This is pretty much why I wanted to run with Meganium, is because it's just such a good check to your beefy water types and your mud boys and stuff. They just destroys them. So I shield up what I think is a Blast Burn. He actually gets me with a Blaze Kick, but either way, I'm pretty sure it would have destroyed me. It was fiery and painful. So shielded, and then hit the not very effective Frenzy Plant for the win on Game 1. Game 2 is very interesting as well. We lead Lapras into the Whiscash. I just realized we didn't go through Tim's team. Apologies, Tim. Tim is running the Celio. He's running an interesting Leafeon, Blaziken, Skuntank, Dragonair, and the Whiscash, which you're seeing now. So Whiscash is just going to pump off a ton of Mud Bombs, just a ton of Mud Bomb spam. Really irritating. Stop that, please. Here comes another one. I'm not going to shield it, I don't think, again, because I feel like it's going to be another Mud Bomb, and there it is. We load up a little bit more energy than we need and fire off a Surf just to see if he wants to preserve the Whiscash in this fight. He does, which then we're able to pretty much, not exactly, but almost back-to-back Surf, and he relents and lets the Whiscash go down. Here I'm like, oh, maybe I can get him to use some energy on me with the Celio, and so I did. Yeah, I was going to switch, but then I thought, nah, I'll let Lapras go down here, I think. I might as well. I don't know why, because I thought, maybe I didn't need an Ice type. Who knows? But send off a Frenzy Plant, and there you go. I didn't need an Ice type. Thank goodness I didn't need Lapras. We're going to block Blaziken's Blast Burn, tongue twister and a half, and fire off an Octazooka to unfortunately, an unshielded Blaziken. So he's going to take that very hard. And then I wanted to potentially try to get to another Octazooka here, but I figured, nah, I'm just going to leave the shield for Meganium, of course. I have to, just in case something goes wrong and I can't get to the Frenzy Plant before Celio gets to something of his. So, there you go. GG's to round 2. So, round 3. And this was funny, because just before this started, I said to Tim, okay, Tim, that's fine. You can beat me as quickly as you possibly can now, because I don't want the video to be too long. And you guys are going to laugh. Oh, I hope you're going to enjoy what happens, because just how? Anyway, we lose the dragon mirror match. It wasn't a mirror match per se, but I didn't even get off an Octazooka. I don't really know what I was thinking there. And in comes the Leafeon pick. We flub the switch trying to get out of there, so Lapras takes a buttload of damage. And in he switches Celio. So here, I'm thinking, okay, I can probably take out the Celio with, like, maybe even just one shield. In this scenario, he's going to have to shield a bunch if he wants to preserve that Celio. So, I'm pretty sure I shield this one. Don't know what it's going to be, but he's probably got back-to-back body slams by now. There it is. So I shielded the first one, and I thought, no, I'll probably go down to the second one. Turns out I didn't. Meganium is so bulky, I kept underestimating it by a lot. I underestimated Meganium by a lot. So, in comes Lapras again. I go for the Surf. Not very effective, and oopsie daisy, it doesn't finish it off either. So, again, I don't know why I shielded. I figured I just have one. And then I didn't touch the Surf because I'm silly. So, we both faint at the same time. So, it's a draw in the third round. So, the third round, take 2... starts now, and we go Kingdra into Dragonair again. Now this time I'm pretty sure I actually get the switch out into the Lapras, which I may or may not have been trying to do last time. I can't be sure. But we get the switch out, and then he gets the switch out into Leafeon. So I'm going to pull the trigger on a Surf and see if he's going to shield this up, thinking it's a Skull Bash, which he does not. Well played, Tim. Well counted, or well guessed. I think I bring in the Kingdra again here. And I decide to shield whatever this is, because I just feel like it's going to be painful. And then I believe it, yeah, Dragon Breath him all the way down, because I didn't need to fire off anything. And then back in the Dragon Mirror match again, I fire off the Octazooka, and I'm pretty sure I get out of there. Bingo! I realized exactly what happened at the start of the last one. I lost with the Kingdra, so now I'm just dotting Kingdra in and out of the battle, just to make sure that he's not taking too much damage. And we shield up a Dragon Pulse there, and I'm able to farm the Dragonair all the way down, and then basically Celio has an onslaught coming his way, because there you go, back-to-back Frenzy Plants, and it doesn't quite finish him off, but that is a big chunk of damage, and then I actually beat him, and sorry Tim, I just flex swiped because I was feeling giddy, but yeah, just a couple of X's and we finish off the Celio. Very well played to everyone. So how was that? We won. We won a tournament finally. And if you're following me on Instagram, which you totally should be, you'll be able to see this sweet, sweet prize. Chanel, personal thank you, because that Dragonair is gorgeous. I will cherish it for the rest of its life. Anyway, thank you to everyone. Everyone who's watched this video, and everyone that's watched any video that I've posted throughout the latter half of this year. It's been really, really fun. The live streams have been super fun. So yeah, anyone that's commented, anyone that's pressed like, anyone that's actually subscribed to me on YouTube or Twitch, you're awesome. The people that I actually walk around with in person, you're awesome. The people that I talk to on Twitch, awesome. I know that pretty much covered before, but thank you everybody. You guys are making me want to do this, like want to upload the videos and want to be, you know, sharing my adventures and stuff. So from everyone here in New Zealand that I can speak on behalf of, I don't know how many people that is, but from everyone here that lets me speak on their behalf, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Be safe, and we'll see you in the next one.